Greetings, beloved light warriors. It's Saratoga, and this is our weekly focus card reading for the week beginning August 23rd through August 29th, 2021. And if you're new to my channel, this is something I do every Sunday so we can reset our focus and our energy for the coming week ahead. And then I do my on-camera videos on Tuesdays and Fridays. Okay, let's get into this week's reading. So this is a very powerful card. As you can see, the word on the card is protection. Now, it's very interesting to me that we're getting this card right now when we're approaching the end of August, ready to move into September, which I think represents a big transition, not only in seasons, but also I think we're going to see some more changes in front of us. Perhaps a lot more chaos, a lot more instability, unpredictability. There's just a lot going on, as we all know. But I think what's happening here is this is a message of get ready and prepare. Be prepared. Stay in a state of being protected. Now let's take a look at the image on this card. This is a big, beautiful tree. And trees are such amazing, amazing entities, aren't they? They are very protective. I mean, they protect all kinds of birds and animals. They provide shade. They're just beautiful protectors in nature. And so I think this tree represents that we need to position ourselves within ourselves in alignment with who we are naturally, because that is our protection. Because when we're aligned with who we really are, we're also aligned simultaneously with the entire universe as it is naturally designed. That is an incredibly stable place to be. So if we look at this image, you can see above the tree, there's a lot of lightning. It's kind of stormy looking. It's almost like the lightning, I think, represents intensity and the intensity of the chaos that is being projected in our lives. It is being projected on all of us. Circumstances that are injecting themselves into our lives that maybe we don't want, maybe we haven't accounted for. Just basically, I just keep getting the feeling of chaos. And if you look at those stormy clouds, you know, chaos is a very stormy kind of experience, right? It's unpredictable. But look at the tree. The tree is solid. It's unfazed. And I also want you to notice underneath the tree, there appears to be a road that is leading through the grasses to the shade of that tree. And I think that road is a very big part of the message as well, because the road is telling us, make way to that which protects you. Make way now to whatever it is you need to do to feel protected. Now, for some of you guys, it might mean a feeling of some kind of physical change so that you feel more protected. But I don't want to make that a broad generalization for everyone. So I think this is one of those readings where I really encourage you to take your own personal meaning from this as well, in addition to the broader ascension level meaning that I am speaking from. So please feel free to interpret this for yourself in your own unique way if you feel so inspired. So anyway, that road goes underneath that tree to the shade, to the soothing shade. You know how soothing shade under a tree feels on a really hot summer day when the intensity of that sun is just too much and too strong? And you go under a big, beautiful tree like this and you just feel the coolness and the relief of the shade. So that's really, I think, what we're looking for. We want to be mindful of two things. We want to be mindful of intuitively sensing what is on the horizon in terms of what's in the coming days, what could possibly unfold, and perhaps more chaos, more instability, whatever that might be. We want to be mindful of that, intuitively sensing it. We don't have to know the exact details, but we do want to be very, very intuitive. And then that's the first thing we want to be mindful of. And then we want to also be mindful of, what do we need to do right now to prepare ourselves? A lot of that preparation has to do with your inner world. It has very much to do with what you're aligned with. Because see, if you do not attend to your own inner world and your own alignment of consciousness, if you do not take the time to attend to that, what's going to happen is by default, you're going to get bombarded with all of these really bad world events and all of the negative messaging and the fear and all of that. You will be bombarded by that by default. So we could even look at what's happening above this tree with all of the lightning and the chaos and the storminess, and we could say that represents what is going to bombard us by default if we do not take shelter under this tree, which means if we do not take shelter within who we are as natural beings. Because see, there is an amazing shelter inside of you. I mean, and it's real. It's absolutely real. There is a shelter of peace inside of you. And you might ask, well, where does that peace come from? How can there be peace inside of me? Well, one of the things that we tend to get confused about is we tend to look to our emotions as our source of peace. Like, well, if my emotions are peaceful, that's how I can feel peace. I can only feel peace when my emotions are peaceful. But that's not very reliable, okay? Especially not in today's world. So we're talking about something deeper than your emotions. We're talking about a source of peace that is unwavering within you. So then you could ask yourself, well, how is that even possible? In the world like this, how is it possible to have an unwavering source of peace within oneself? Because our emotions definitely can be quite unpredictable, right? Well, here's why. Here's how to understand that. Inside of your physical presence is who you are as an infinite being. You as an infinite being, that is your consciousness, that is the you that looks out of your eyes, that is the you that experiences through all five senses, that is the you that thinks or doesn't think certain thoughts, that is the you that makes choices using this vehicle called your physical body. That you is infinite. That you is untouchable. That you is perfect, pure, and sourced in love. Which means that you, the consciousness that is you, is 100% secure at all times. Nothing can touch it. Nothing can harm it. Nothing can destroy it. Nothing can make it go away. So that you, that presence that you are, is always in a state of absolute security and peace, because that you is sourced in love. That's the real you. That's the true you. That's a very real thing. And even if you say to yourself, gosh, I've never experienced that, my life is all over the place or whatever it is, it doesn't mean it's not there. It only means that you're not experiencing it. But it certainly doesn't mean it's not there. So that inner being, that inner truth of who you are is your shelter above and beyond all else. And here's why it's an important shelter. Because if you are centered there, and this is why meditation is so important, y'all. If you are centered there, then your body is in a state of equilibrium. Your mind is clear, your emotions are calm, you can see what is going on, you can intuit what might be ahead, and you are also receptive to divine guidance about what you personally need to do. So that's why this is a shelter. It's like an oasis that exists within you. So from that inner oasis, from that inner shelter, just like this tree, you can then be protected because your inner wisdom and everything that becomes available to you consciously when you're centered in that place is protection for you. Because honestly, where's your source of protection out in the outer world? I mean, where's your protection from all of the chaos, from all of the bombardment of negative energy, all the bombardment of fear and uncertainty? Where's your protection? Think about this, right? It has to be sourced within you. Because see, when you are in the protection of that inner self, that inner immortal, pure, infinite being, you are at a frequency of energy that is untouchable by all of this chaos. That puts you in a protective frequency. It puts your whole body, it puts your mind, your emotions, every cell, every atom of your being, of your physical body. It puts your entire self into a frequency that cannot be touched by the chaos. So that is the ultimate protection. All right. So it's like getting your frequency, getting your vibration, getting your energy to that state that is in alignment with who you really are is your protection. And then there's a second aspect to that protection, which is the fact that, as I said a few moments ago, you thereby have access to mental clarity, heightened intuition, and calm emotions that do not cloud your understanding, do not cloud your experience. So you are actually you have available to you a much higher level of knowledge and awareness and experience. So all of those things are the protection that we need going forward. And it's interesting because it looks like this road that goes under the shade of the tree might continue on. I can't really tell, but it might continue on past the tree. So it's kind of like, okay, this is the road you're on. Make sure you stop under the shade of this protection. Stop under the shade of this tree before you continue on your journey. Make sure that you are protected and that you understand how to be protected. So, one other thing I'll say, I'm going to talk about these stones that I have here as well, but well, let me do that right now. So what I have, I was just inspired to put these stones here with this card. So on the right, I have Smoky Quartz. Smoky Quartz is grounding, it's very clearing, and it's well known for protection. And then to the left, I have Natural Citrine. Natural Citrine is also well known for clearing. It actually has a little bit of Smoky Quartz in it, believe it or not. And it's very strengthening. It's strengthening to in other words, it helps with inner strength, which is what we need, right? So that we are motivated to do what we need to be doing right now to be in that state of protection. And then the blue stone is called Azumar. And Azumar is a recently discovered stone, so you may not have heard of it. The word Azumar means blue ocean. Isn't that beautiful? I love this stone. I totally love this stone. This stone has so many different aspects to it, but it carries an energy of all of the things that are really aligned with our true selves, with that higher self, that true presence that I was talking about earlier. It carries with it a vibration, a feeling of happiness, of love. It enhances intuition, inner peace. It feels like a very watery stone to me when I hold it. An emotional balance. It's hard to describe, honestly, but it's kind of like it just brings all of those things together into a harmonious whole, all of those positive experiences in a very delicate way, in a very synchronous, beautiful way, that it sort of helps you get in touch with something so much more real in yourself and about life and about this planet than all the junk that we're being told by the media and all this craziness, right? So, yeah, I really like this combination of stones. I think it's very, very powerful, and it really matches the message of this card. So let me see if there's anything more I want to say before I complete this. Other than just really, really stay aware. You really need to recognize that the media and the controllers of this planet bombard us with fear and confusion. That's their biggest thing lately, right? Confusion. They love to bring a lot of confusion into the mix. The reason they do that is because they do not want us to be clear. They don't want us to be clear. They don't want us to know what we're doing. They don't want us to know what's going on. They want to keep us off balance all the time. Think about that. What's the opposite of clarity? Well, the opposite of clarity is confusion, right? So, in terms of consciousness. So It's really important to understand that this is what they will always try to do. They will always try to keep you off balance, confused, anxious, fearful, and unconscious, basically. So make sure that you consider these things. If this message has meaning for you, that you consider how important it is right now, because I really think this is very, very important, a very pertinent message for where we are, but how important it is to become able to be in a state of protection, a protection for your consciousness more than anything else, because your consciousness is your greatest asset. It is a tremendous asset. Protection for your consciousness, your mind, your emotions, your experience overall. And yeah, just consider that, especially in the coming week, and especially as we approach the end of August, because we don't really know where this whole thing is going. It's just kind of crazy right now. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed this reading. Have a beautiful week ahead. Make sure that you really consider how important your experience is to your journey going forward, and take very good care of yourself. Just make yourself a priority in terms of how you're feeling from day to day. So, okay, with that, I very much look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I'm sending you all so much love. Have a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and namaste.